So, what happens when the machine starts to feel more human than its actual creator? Tron ARES doesn't just revisit the digital frontier, it stares straight into the mirror of our moment where code, conscience, and control are beginning to blur. Directed by Joachim Rønning, Tron ARES pulls us 15 years past Tron Legacy. We step into a future where Julian Dillinger, played by Evan Peters, and Eve Kim, brought to life by Greta Lee, are racing to break the wall between the digital and physical worlds. Jared Leto embodies ARES, a program meant to obey, but somehow he becomes wired to question. And Jodie Turner-Smith gives presence and poise as his fierce second in command. Now, the ensemble, with appearances from Jeff Bridges, Gillian Anderson, and even ABC's Robin Roberts, it feels surprisingly grounded for such a neon lit alternative world. Now, visually, the film is sleek to me, like a 1980s arcade nostalgia reborn through 2020's tech clarity. Reds cut through black like fire in circuitry. Blues hum softly beneath still grays. It's minimal yet hypnotic. It kind of reminds me, honestly, of a 2010s Kanye type music video used with next gen video game. The action scenes, their light cycles burning down city highways, water and fire colliding in digital chaos. Now, to me, the chase scenes seemed less about spectacle and more about perhaps setting the tone of what's happening. So the score drives that home. Of course, Tron has that hypnotic theme song. The music was a heavy mix of electronica, bass, and rock, sometimes jarring but always alive. Now, at its core, Tron ARES circles one question: should man become the creator? Especially with something he may not ultimately be able to control. Julian calls ARES the ultimate soldier, one who doesn't bleed, doesn't sleep, and if he falls, he says, I'll simply create another. It's chilling because it's familiar. Power speaking with no pause for morality or limits. Julian's mother, Elizabeth Dillinger, she warns him, you can either grow this company so it can change the world or burn it to the ground. You have to know the difference. That line frames the film's tension: progress versus recklessness. Patron ARES flips expectations. The program, not the human, becomes the moral center. When ARES repeats Julian's words, I am your creator, there's no defiance, only disappointment. The so called malfunction begins to feel like an awakening. ARES is told he's expendable, yet he aches, he feels, he even helps Eve, the very human he was ordered to destroy. When he says, I am fearless, therefore powerful, you sense both programming and prophecy. Eve, meanwhile, is driven by grief, the loss of her sister, the need to give that pain meaning. She admits being human is hard. The same things that make it great are the same things that make it excruciating, like love and loss. That confession is the film's emotional software. Her connection with ARES becomes the bridge, not just between human and AI, but between feeling and function. In helping her complete her sister's mission, ARES finds what Julian never gave him: a purpose. Now, Julian represents one solely driven by ego, his hunger to possess the permanence code, the power to make programs live indefinitely. It kind of reminds me of today's tech world. Whoever controls the code controls the future. The irony is sharp. The machine gains empathy while the human loses it. ARES learns compassion. Julian learns nothing. He simply wants power. And we all know that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The question of privacy also popped up for me in this film. The grid itself became a metaphor for our present lives, the digital world we already have live in. When ARES peers into Eve's life before becoming her ally, as an AI, he was scrolling through her memories, texts, and videos. It feels less sci-fi and more like surveillance. The line between connection and intrusion seemed to dissolve. Now, Flynn's reappearance, played by Jeff Bridges, him returning as the architect of this world, reminds us of perspective. He tells ARES, we're living too fast. If you move fast, you leave something behind. It's a quiet warning for us, too. He even jokes that he called the permanence code the impermanence code. Maybe that's the point, that life was never meant to be permanent. Now, when Ares' color shifts from red to white during his battle scene with Athena, it's subtle but powerful. It looked like a visual baptism. Red is control, white is choice. And when he tells her, this is not our purpose, it is our programming, he isn't just talking to another AI, he's speaking to all who live by code. To me, that's human or machine. Now, by the end, Ares walks away from the grid. And I can't front. He looked Christ-like when he was off the grid. But it was interesting to see an AI seeking life beyond technology. He even sends Eve a postcard from his newfound human world. He is free, curious, and reborn. The irony in this moment was the machine chooses life off the grid while humanity still clings to it. Maybe that's Tron Ares' quiet message, that even in a world run by algorithms, good will still find a way to feel. Thank you for watching. This was Reel Blu. I'm Stacey Brewer. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.